Oh my God, it is here, Beyond the Drop, dude. We've been working on this for a while, kind of putting together the format and the idea behind it, giving another property to Free Drop Media, and just a chance for you and I and others to talk football and other sports other than golf. You mentioned, appropriately so, a little bit of golf burnout at this point, like everybody else. How you doing? You good? You ready?
Oh, well, you're making me miss the debate.
Well, I hear it in the background. So I think we can listen to it as we were doing the pod.
Oh, can you? My wife's listening to it. Do you want me to ask her to turn it down?
No, you're good. You're good. I think it's good to have a reminder that's there. Yes, we are recording this during the presidential debate, which is already
I'm
produced.
I'm going to text her right now and tell her, we don't need to. I'm going to tell her to turn it down a little bit.
Well, there's already two idiots on this podcast. And
we already missed the comment about the people eating the cats and dogs in the park.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Mike, while we're doing that, I want full disclosure for our audience.
Who are you voting for?
First of all, I'm writing you in, Michael. I just want you to know. You're my write-in. Full disclosure, you and I have clear allegiances here when we talk about these things. You know, it's a little different than golf, where I consider myself more of an impartial expert. I am a very partial fan when it comes to football and basketball and anything else we're going to talk about on the Behind the Drop podcast. Behind the Drop. I'm going to do this a lot. Let's try that again. When it comes to the Beyond the Drop podcast. And I'm wearing my Bears hat. I am unapologetically a diehard Chicago Bears fan. You got your New England hat on. You're a Patriots fan. You make me physically ill. What do you have, 6 Super Bowls, in the last 10 years? I do have one little tiny caveat that the Bears beat the Patriots in my only Super Bowl in '85, which I watched. You weren't even born then. So anyway,
congratulations.
Thank you, man. I'm sitting on that for a long time, dude. And we had high hopes going into this weekend. We don't need to talk about it, but there's some concerns.
Big win.
So it's a win. It's a huge come from behind.
Do you paint your nails on game day?
Yes, all different colors. I did orange. Well, I had him like kind of a bluish at first, and I saw his orange nails. I immediately went into my wife's, medicine cabinet and got her a nail polish and started oranging it up.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, man, win games. You can do whatever you want. You can pierce your nose. You can wear fingernail polish. I don't care. Just win games.
Yeah, he was definitely the reason they won.
Beyond that, Mike, you're a New England guy. I do want to throw a small apology. I'm not even going to apologize for this. I want to have an acknowledgement. I'm going to give you Maine. I want you to have Maine because I consider New England the original 13 colonies, but I get that Maine was part of kind of that greater Massachusetts, territory when I did my research. So I'm going to give you Maine.
For those that don't know, Josh on the E9 season finale, Josh accused me of not knowing that Maine was part of New England. He said, no, Maine's not part of New England. I said, Maine's absolutely part of New England. Like, Maine is one of the staples of New England.
Well, I don't think it's a staple. Let's slow down there. It's like saying New York is a staple. It's like kind of a part. But
Maine is more of a staple to New England than Rhode Island, than Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a staple.
Well, the very small town of Rhode Island is going to take exception with this podcast, that's for sure. Okay, Mike, Beyond the Drop is going to have a number of different topics, but right now, what we're most excited about is football. I am a maniacal football fan. All I did was watch football from Thursday night to Monday night, almost without pause. How about you?
I watched a lot of football. I went to a wedding, so
yeah.
Credit to my guy Joey though, whose wedding it was. He specifically picked a weekend. He had his wedding on a Friday night.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, well, he was like, I couldn't predict the Brazil thing. It's like,
sure,
yeah, well, that was a crap game anyways. But he had his wedding on a Friday night so that we had all day Saturday to watch college football and get home on Sundays in time to watch NFL. So like, kudos to Joey if you're listening. What a guy to build a wedding around.
Solid work.
Weekend. Yeah.
And he's working against a lot of elements, right? Fiancés and mother-in-laws.
This is terrible wedding season. If you're getting married this time of year.
Yeah, what are you doing?
No.
I have the Sunday ticket, and I was a little nervous. Could I manage the 4 screens at once? And I really impressed myself. I'm older, not maybe as technologically savvy as I used to be. Man, I dominated the multi-view on YouTube, and I got so much football in. It was like I was like a wizard. I was so impressed with myself. I know you have Sunday ticket. Do you take full advantage?
No, I watch one game.
You watched one game, and that was your Patriots winning and beating the
Yeah.
Bengals in
I
game
mean,
one.
then I'll watch another game, but
Okay. Well, I watched 4 at once, including the Bears. Now, I would go to the Bears full screen when they're on offense, and then I would go to the 4 multi-view when they were on defense. Turns out I should have done that the other way around because the defense was clearly the superior element. But
and special teams.
yeah, and special teams. But let's start with college football, Mike. And it was an interesting week. It looks like last week is going to be far more interesting than the upcoming week. First of all, kudos to you on calling the Michigan game. By the time I had to go to a clinic in the morning, by the time I got home and turned on the game, I was so excited to watch it was over.
What did you have to go to the clinic for?
Well, I mean, it was a referee clinic. I referee
Oh,
high
it
school
wasn't
basketball.
like a
Yeah, no. What
STD clinic.
No. I do that over the telephone. They ship stuff to me. So I have I have my work done in the morning. I get the TV on. I'm excited to see. I did take your advice. I made my largest bet of the weekend on Texas, thinking this was probably gambling suicide. Turns out it was the best bet of the weekend that I made, without a doubt. And Texas certainly looked the part. Going into the big house and not just winning, but dominating, as you predicted, was probably one of the 2 biggest lessons we learned this weekend, that Texas is for real.
Yeah. So mortgage payment covered for October, which is fantastic. Yeah, listen, takeaway there, Texas is legit. Michigan sucks, right? Michigan's
Do they
defense-
suck, or I texted you?
No.
Is Michigan bad, or is Texas just this good?
Michigan sucks. They have no offense. Like, Michigan is terrible. I don't think they have a coach. They don't have an offense. I think their defense is serviceable, but when your offense can't do anything and you're on the field for 75% of the game against an offense that's as potent as Texas, you're going to get exposed eventually.
Yeah.
So it's a long, dark season up there in Ann Arbor. Man, it is going to be like, I'm just going to go out there and say it now. It's going to be like a 70-10 drubbing in Columbus come Buckeye Michigan game. That's going to be a bloodbath. But
I doubt Ohio State is as good as Texas. Seriously, and I'm a Big Ten guy. I'm a Wisconsin guy through and through.
That's a hot take.
I do not think the Big Ten, and this bears out over time, has been a very good football conference, especially the last 10 years. They've been behind, whether it is the transfer portal, whether it is the nil contracts. My favorite school, my daughter's a senior at the University of Wisconsin. I went to a game a couple weeks ago. We brought in Luke Fickell, who's supposed to be kind of the savior of the program, and he's supposed to bring in all these 5-star recruits, and we've had a dripping of it. And we've had more guys leave than come in. We lost Braylon Allen to the NFL this year. I just think
the little 10 is not.
Yeah, it's not great.
The
Well,
little
it's
10 is not good. I would
it's
say
18 teams. It's the biggest of the Power 4 conferences.
the little 10s. It runs through Los Angeles this year.
It does. It's ridiculous too that you have Rutgers on one side and UCLA on the other, and Oregon. Anyway, another big winner this weekend is going to be our home state, your home state, Tennessee Volunteers, who dismantled the North Carolina State Wolfpack. And North Carolina State ranked, but maybe not should have, but it didn't matter. UT looked a class or 2 above the ACC opponent, NC State. It just goes to show that the SEC, as usual, is probably the most powerful conference in the country. I hate to admit that because I'm not an SEC fan.
Yeah, and I think it's already appropriate to say the expansion of the playoff is a joke.
Do you think?
Yes, it's unnecessary. I get the entertainment value, but it's already clear, in my opinion, who the best teams in the country are.
Well, I was going to ask you that question. Let's hold on to that thought for one second. So I'm going to ask you that, and I want you to kind of unpack it a little bit. Talk about UT, the Volunteer UT. We Texas on the other side of this sometimes, but the home state Volunteers for you. Did you watch any of that game? See the highlights? What did you take away from that?
Yeah, this is what Tennessee does under Josh Heupel. They get off to these rocket ship starts. Now this QB, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. He's good.
He's good.
Kid's a
Nico,
stud, right?
Yeah.
Nico. He looks every bit as advertised. Heupel's got his quarterback. This is not the Joe Milton experience. Here's the thing: can the defense hold up? And there's no doubt Tennessee is going to make the playoff. So, all right, maybe I'm backtracking a little. Is Tennessee?
So you're going to pencil them in? You're going to pencil them in. Will you pencil them into the top 4? Do you think they're going to be a conference winner?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, there's just too much strength in Alabama and Texas right now.
We'll talk about that later.
Alabama, Texas. I mean, I'll tell you what. There's going to be 5 teams from the SEC in this playoff.
Runs through Athens.
I forgot Georgia too, right? I mean, good gosh, it's just not even. It's a class above, which makes
Ole
me
Miss
physically
is pretty
ill.
good.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
The SEC is elite. All right, it's the SEC and everyone else.
Well, let's talk about one of the everyone else then, because one everyone else shot themselves square in the ding dong this weekend. They paid $1.5 million for Northern Illinois to come to South Bend, Indiana. It's called a guarantee game. You know, big schools pay little schools to come play them just so they can beat up on them, get, some reps in for their JV team. Well, that didn't happen in South Bend. Notre Dame coming off a huge win over Texas A&M and lays a gigantic Catholic turd on the middle of their home field, dude. It was unbelievable to watch it happen. And it's funny because watching football on Saturday, and I don't know if you follow the scores, but like for a second it looked like K-State was going to get upset. You're like, oh, God, that's going to be a big one. For a second, it looked like Tulane was going to beat, Tulane was playing K-State. What was the other real close one? Penn State was going to lose to Bowling Green, right? Is that the other one that would look like it was going to be another upset? And then the biggest of all of them, Northern Illinois kicks a field goal with 30 seconds left to beat the Fighting Irish, the number 5 ranked team in the country. And here's a problem for them.
Listen, Notre Dame, though, is... It was almost like the Michigan thing, right? Like Notre Dame is always going to get in the preseason, they're going to get ranked high. The TV wants them to be ranked high. NBC wants them ranked high. They're not that good.
No, they're not.
They're going to struggle because they're going to, with the NIL, they're going to have an uphill battle there because the alumni are not going to want to participate in that. They're going to want to hang their hats
they have tons of money. It's the Catholic Church.
But these crusty alumni are going to think, oh, they should want to come here for the Golden Dome, the prestige, right? And that's
it's about the dollar bills now. Dollar bill, y'all.
Okay, well, who are they getting? They got Riley Leonard from Duke.
That's not great.
They haven't really had a lot of portal success, right? Their head coach Freeman, not impressed at all. I mean, if that's the best you can do,
bad look.
Not impressed. I mean, but then again, Brian Kelly was a joke too. So anytime the lights have been bright in South Bend, they crap the bed, and they just didn't happen to be that bright the other night. And Northern Illinois came in there and waxed them. So I'm not surprised, and mark my words, they'll get back into the top 10, and they won't do anything to earn it. But the coaches want them in there. The TV networks want them in there. Every year, Notre Dame finds a way to eke their way back into this. They'll probably backdoor into the playoffs somehow, and they'll get their asses blown out.
That's embarrassing if they do that, and here's the problem for Notre Dame, not being in a conference, right? Holding on to this independent status, where the rest of their sports are in the Big East. The fact that they have pushed away conferences and now they don't have a chance to win a conference, which would earn them an automatic bid into the playoffs, and now they have to depend on, like you just said, the good faith of whoever's voting for the top.
I think it plays in their
12.
favor though, because they're not.
Does it? I can't imagine it would. Well, I mean, they could win the ACC. I don't see a reason why they couldn't. If they were in the ACC right now, they couldn't. I mean, Florida State sucks at ACC. Miami's the best team there.
I'd love to get another Catholics versus convicts.
I mean, that'd be fantastic. Could you imagine the history of that, bringing that back out again in the ACC championship game? I think the Irish have blown it by not joining the Big Ten or the ACC, and now it looks like I think they have a very difficult road to the playoffs. Tough schedule. They can't lose 2 more games, and they have no shot. They got 1 maybe miss in them the rest of the season, and that's going to be tough.
But it goes back to the playoff argument. Is like, even if they make it in, they suck. They're not winning the national championship.
They're not. Which is my beef with the whole tournament in the first place. Like, there's only 4 or 5 teams that could win it. Why do we got 12 in there? What's the point?
I don't know. It's not any given Sunday. It's by the time the tournament rolls around or the playoff, the best teams are going to be better, and you're just not going to see these upsets. Like Washington beating, what was it, Texas last year. Like, they acted like it was an upset. It wasn't an upset. Washington was a good team all year.
Yeah.
Pac-12 was a strong conference last year. So you're not going to have a Tulane Green Wave, go on a hot streak and run through the SEC gauntlet.
Here's what's interesting. Northern Illinois could run the table on the rest of their schedule. They could.
Northern Illinois is not going to.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they do and they win their conference and they're the highest ranked 5th, because you get 5 conference bids into the tournament.
Josh, Northern Illinois They'll probably lose this week. I don't know who they're playing.
So let me just we don't need to unpack Northern Illinois' football schedule, but it certainly doesn't have a team as high profile or as talented as Notre Dame on it. You know, got Buffalo, Bowling Green, Toledo. I mean, they will probably lose one of those games for sure. But I would say they have an easier road into the playoff than Notre Dame does at this point. I mean, Notre Dame.
I disagree.
Notre Dame's schedule. I mean, they got to play Louisville. They got to play Purdue. They got to play Florida State. They got to play USC at the end of the season. You tell me they're going to win out and get into the playoff. I'm
not saying they got to win out. Notre Dame, 2-loss Notre Dame gets in over a one-loss Northern Illinois. Like, Josh, next topic. Come on.
Next topic. I think this is the most interesting topic that coming out of this week in college football.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if Northern Illinois makes the playoff, they're out in the first round.
No, 100%. But the system's designed to get, since we only have 4 power conferences now, it's designed to get that 5th conference winner.
There's one power conference.
Right, the SEC, and then you got like the Three Stooges behind them. Yeah, I got you.
Medium 12.
Mike, I got a question for you. I did this math. There are 135 teams in Division I eligible, the football championship series, or bowl series, excuse me. Championship series is a step down. Of those 135 teams, how many do you think are in these big 4 conferences?
70.
So yeah, 67. I mean, I was blown away how big these conferences now. ACC 17, Big 10 18, Big 12 16, SEC 16, and Washington State and Oregon State still don't have a home. They're playing quote unquote still in the Pac-12, Pac-10. So you have 67 teams in these 4 conferences. How many of those 12 playoff spots are going to be occupied? We know at least one won't be, most likely, but do you think the 11 others are coming from these Power 4 conferences at the end of the year? My point is, do the Toledos, do the Tulanes, the Bowling Greens of the world have any chance? Or is this just a stacked deck in favor of these big 4?
Well, aren't the formula guarantees that some of those guys get in, right?
One. The only one that gets in is going to be the winner of the 5th conference. So the way the rule states is the highest ranked 4 conference winners get in. Now, those are obviously going to be your 4 biggest conferences. There's no way you're going to see a higher ranked team than anybody in the SEC, Big 10, ACC get into the playoff.
Yeah,
so that means
the highest ranked of the remainder, right?
Of the other conferences, the number one, so whoever's the highest rank of the remaining 5 conferenses will get in. So that's my
according to that's Northern Illinois.
Well, it could be, right. I mean, they're ranked right now. They're 25th in the country right now.
It's week 2.
But that could be it. I mean, we might have, rightfully so, 11 other teams. But I saw this weekend, Tulane, for example, taking K-State to the wire. It seems like there's a lot of competitive football programs in the 68 teams on the outside looking in. And they're going to be left out. Who cares? Do we care anymore? Does it even matter? With the way guys are moving schools?
I care for good games. I care for gambling purposes. I care for Maction during, on Tuesday nights. I care for, I guess the Pac-12 at night's gone, but I care for San Diego State kicking off at like 11. I care for Hawaii on the Rock at midnight.
Oh, nothing better than to fall asleep to that, right?
But no, at the end of the day, when the playoff starts, I don't, because it's going to be the best teams from the 4 conferences, and this year it's going to be
most of the SEC. Give me your top 3. I kind of challenge you with this. If you can narrow it to 3, your top 3 storylines that you're looking forward to in college football this year.
I cannot wait to see Colorado burn.
Oh, they've already started, dude. That game this weekend, I watched a lot of that Nebraska game. It was the difference between what a well-coached, well-disciplined team looks like versus a bunch of dudes who are social media stars and, reality TV stars.
Yeah. I thought a lot about, not what Deion Sanders, I'm not going to call him Coach Prime, what Deion Sanders is doing out there. And I don't know if this is original thought or not, because it feels really intelligent. So I'm sure someone else has thought of this before. But I'm pretty damn proud of this. He's an agent.
He is. I agree.
he's an agent or he's a promoter. He's Don King, or he's Drew Rosenhaus, and he's sitting out there and he's getting his guys into draft spots. But I'll tell you what, Shedeur may not be that good. And
well, he's going to get drafted. He's going to get drafted like he's good.
Well,
but he may not be good.
Maybe if he's sitting at the podium, throwing everyone on the team under the bus. I don't know. Like, here's the thing: the NFL's a different beast.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much pull outside of the Dallas Cowboys Dion has. You know, if you're sitting there and you need a quarterback, is Shedeur your guy? I don't know. And I'll tell you what, I don't listen. When his kid's gone, when Travis Hunter's gone, when Shiloh's gone, I don't think Dion is back at Colorado next year.
I don't think they can keep him. They have to pay him, though. That's the problem. They got to pay him.
Well, he's the one that's going to decide. It's not. They're not going to let him go.
You don't
Colorado
think?
wants him to stick around. No, Colorado wants him to stick around.
It's embarrassing what's happening.
Colorado hasn't been relevant since Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? They want him to stick around because it brings relevance to the program. It puts asses in seats. That stadium hasn't been sold out. Right? They're going to try to keep him around at all costs. But you think Dion is made for Boulder, Colorado? No. Right? Like, Florida probably looks at Dion and says, oh, shit. Like, Billy Napier?
Might be the right guy for us.
We'd like to get some players in here, but
we get some like Travis Hunter into our program, and
Travis Hunter's going to be gone. He's going.
Oh, I know, but I mean, the point is, like, someone like him.
But when Dion doesn't have nepotism anymore, when Dion has to go and recruit outside of his family tree, I don't know. Like, eventually, money and winning goes a lot further than, Dion sitting at a podium saying, oh, my guy's going to be top three pick, guaranteed top 3 pick. Because I'll tell you what, if Shadeur's not a top 3 pick, all another coach has to say in a recruiting visit is like, what? Like, top 3 pick? Like, I'm Kirby Smart. Carson Beck went number 1.
Well, I agree with that take. I think it's almost a no-brainer at this point. And
I guarantee you that their practices are shit. They're not looking at film like other teams are. It's a circus.
No. I mean, that Nebraska game was evident of what a well-prepared, prepped, scouted, thoroughly disciplined team looks like against a group of better athletes. I mean, Colorado outclassed them athletically all over the field. It didn't matter. I mean, it was a physical and intellectual domination by a Nebraska team that has been very middle of the road, the last decade. All right, that's one. I like that one. What's your next one?
I am very intrigued to see what Kalen DeBoer does at Alabama.
They didn't look great last weekend.
They didn't, but then they did. Like, they didn't until they did.
They're still who they are.
Because I turned away from that game, forgot it was on, and then checked the score like 2 hours later, and it went from a 1-score game to them putting up 28 points in the fourth, and they won 48 to like 16.
Well, that's the thing. It looked a lot closer until the doors came flying off it in the fourth quarter. And sometimes these games look like blowouts when they're actually a little bit closer. And I caught some of this game. It seemed that Alabama was not as put together as they usually are.
Yeah, I think it just played down to the opponent. But it's a different style than they were under Saban.
Right.
The players are loose. You can tell by the way they warm up. You can tell by the way they celebrate. You can tell by the way they act on the field. There's not as much discipline. But that offense is electric.
Well,
it's like, as a Patriots fan, I sat there watching the Patriots on Sunday. It's their first game without Belichick, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how's this team look? How's it compare to when Belichick was there? And they played loose. They played free. It was a different attitude. And don't get me wrong, I still think Belichick's a better coach than Sherrod Mayo.
Sure.
But, it's clear that he's a younger coach. They say he's a player's coach. Those guys played loose. They played fast. They weren't afraid to make mistakes. They didn't really make many mistakes. And I think there's something to be said for that. And I think you got a little bit of that at Alabama now. So it'll be interesting to see if you loosen up the reins a little bit on these players at a program like Alabama. Does it come off the rails, or are they still a powerhouse? Because they didn't lose a ton of talent when all was said and done. Between the coaching change. And
I don't think they lost a mindset either. I don't think there was a huge shift in when what people thought Alabama football was supposed to be, right? Hard hitting, athletic, fast, and disciplined. I don't think that's changed either, but I think the systems have changed a little bit, and hence the mistakes you might have seen earlier, the 3 turnovers you saw in the first half of that game. I think that gets cleaned up. You know who they're playing this week, right? Oh, come on.
Oh, your team, Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're going to Wisconsin. They're going to Camp Randall.
Camp Randall.
It looks good on paper, right? It looks like a good laundry game.
What is it, like a 16-point?
It's 16 points, and I want to encourage you. I don't give out picks like you do, but I would want to encourage you to lay the 16. And if it goes to 17 or 18, as it should, lay those two. I watched every second of that Wisconsin game.
I don't like that.
Dude, you got to – I'm telling you, touch it. Touch it all over. Touch it, rub it all over yourself. It's got to be at least it's got to be at least 21. Well, it's going to be sit down and cry.
House of Pain.
I will say my daughter sold her student section ticket for $180, so that pays for her whole season tickets.
Did you sell it to a?
She sold to another student. No, another student. They're not Alabama fans in the student section. But that said, it's going to be a fun environment. It's going to be cool to see our team play Alabama, and the score is going to be tied for at least a few minutes, 0-0, and then I think things get out of hand. To my greater point, they got Georgia in a week and a half, so the week after they play Wisconsin, they have Georgia. I think we'll find out a lot about both those teams on the 14th.
Fun fact: my alma mater, the Citadel, we were tied with Alabama at the half about like 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the Citadel's claim to fame, right? I mean, other than the fact that they trained a bunch of Confederate soldiers.
I thought this wasn't a political podcast.
Third college football take from you for this season.
Man, is the U back? Is the U back? I hope the U is back.
You just talked about it.
I want the U to be back so bad. Is the U back? I don't know. The football world is back. I want nothing more than the U to be back in the old school U. I want the Jimmy Johnson U. I want that U that is just, I'm not going to tell everyone to go out there and Google the song that Greg Olson was part of.
Greg Olson's song is great.
But if you go out and Google the song that Greg Olson was part of, you're probably going to be like, oh my gosh, Greg Olson was part of this song because it's a crazy song.
That's right. Also, not the first time we'll talk about Greg Olson today as well. I want you to know that.
That's fine. But yeah, I think it was like the 7th Floor Crew. That's a wild crew. And I'm not condoning the 7th Floor Crew, but I hope the U is back. Like the college football is better if the U is back.
They are so fast, dude. They have 97 points in 2 games. They laid it to Florida and then Florida A&M. They got Ball State this week. They really aren't going to see a test until almost October. So this is setting up to be the last half of their schedule is a little tougher. It's setting up to be a pretty good pathway for them to make it to the playoffs.
The ACC is
weak. I don't see a scenario where they don't win the ACC. Something weird's got to happen. So I think they're back. I think you are safe in your prayers on this one.
And my bonus pick is just the fall of Dabo Swinney. I hope it's.
Is this a personal thing? I mean,
no. I just think he's a fraud.
It's not a football school anymore.
He's a fraud.
Why? Give me some fraud. Do you think he doesn't walk the walk?
He's just like all his stupid quotes, like we're about Jesus here. Like, what is it? NIL is like a
I mean, you're talking about this is a national championship coach, buddy.
Like named in his, not in his image or whatever, in his image. Like, shut up, Dabo. Like, you're a clown. God doesn't care about your team.
Well, my question is Clemson a basketball school now anyway? It's like Auburn. Like Auburn and Clemson are just basketball schools. I don't think football exists there anymore. That's dirty. Clemson's still good.
They are?
I mean, I didn't even see what they did this week. They had a good win first? No, they did not. They got Georgia blew them out. I watched until halftime of the game and seen it was close.
Dabo stinks.
Okay, let's turn to the National Football League, Mike, and there's obviously so much to cover here. Week 1, so many storylines. I would say we bookended the first week with the best teams, right? Kansas City looked really good, but not great against Baltimore. Baltimore looked better than maybe we expected. And then San Francisco last night looked like they have leveled up. Did you not see that game last night?
Go back.
What?
No, go back to Kansas City looked good, but in Baltimore maybe looked better than we expected?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Baltimore going into Kansas City and being a size 13 shoe instead of a size 12 shoe away from sending that game to overtime.
I had fully anticipated them to win that game.
You did. You picked them.
And they should have if Lamar hits a wide open Zay Flowers in the end.
He did miss Zay Flowers. Lamar was really good other than that pass. That's why that pass was so
shocking.
shocking.
Of Lamar's career is he's good till he's not.
Well, let me ask you this, because we're going to cover the NFL with reaction or overreaction. You tell me. So I got some hot takes here. You tell me whether this is the proper reaction or an overreaction. You ready?
Yes.
All right, here's number one. The Chiefs are going to be the first NFL team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. That's how good they looked on Thursday. Proper reaction or overreaction?
Oh, that's proper. They look good. Like they just Xavier Worthy looks like a stud.
He looks so good, dude.
And he got him Brown. He didn't even play.
Do you know how they got him? Do you know who traded the pick to them to get him at the 20th pick in the first round?
Who? Someone stupid.
The Buffalo Bills of all the teams to just
that checks.
It's unbelievable. That's right. That's right in your neighborhood.
They're just so good.
So you would not be surprised if the Chiefs have their 3rd Super Bowl here in a few months.
Not at all.
God, they look good.
That's the thing is they weren't supposed to look good. They're supposed to suck in the first few weeks.
Well,
that's their MO. And
they looked terrible last year against Detroit in the first game, and now
they rolled. It's so depressing.
I know.
It looks so good.
I feel
Taylor
sad.
Swift looks so hot. I don't know if you saw her
dude. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. When
I am.
Someone mentioned that she has gone from kind of the innocent girlfriend to the hot wife portion of the relationship, and they were darn right. She came marching into that stadium. I got to be careful here. First of all, my family, all of them other than me, are Chiefs fans.
Well, my wife doesn't listen to the pod either. So
okay, my wife has been listening. It was unbelievable, and man, good on Travis Kelce. Okay, next one. The 3 rookie quarterbacks who started this weekend, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, they're in over their head. They should be working as backups until they're ready to play. Are those guys all in over their heads?
No.
So you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Week 1's always hard on rookie quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, and it's what else do you want them to do?
I don't know. I mean, Bo Nix throwing.
Bo Nix is 40, and he's played 1,000 college games. People you got Cliff Kingsbury calling the shots in Washington for Jaden Daniels, and by all accounts he was lighting it up. And then your boy Caleb is the number 1 overall pick.
Here's what I want to say about Caleb, and I'm not going to talk much about the Bears. I want to let this play out. But one thing, watching him on television, watching him on Hard Knocks, watching him in preseason, I watched almost every second of him. He's extremely talented. He's also very small. He's going to have trouble getting over or around NFL linemen. I mean, big trouble. He had a couple knock down. His release point's low.
Small. He's not back.
No, he's not. He's jacked. He's jacked. He's a big dude, strong dude. He's got a great arm. I'm just telling you, he's much smaller than you think. They have him listed at 6 feet. If he's 5'10", I'm shocked.
I don't have any issues with these quarterbacks starting. I don't.
Do you think Drake May should be starting as a Patriots fan?
Absolutely not.
So what's the difference?
Absolutely not.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett's not a world beater.
The difference is, be very clear here, the Patriots are not winning the Super Bowl. And there's no expectations that they are. Not that any of the teams that were just listed are either, but I think there are some pipe dreams in Chicago that, there's enough weapons on this team that we could do it.
Well, their defense is good.
There are no weapons on the Patriots. Be very clear about that. Ramondre Stevenson, maybe, but they're going to run him into the ground. Albeit, was maybe proved a little wrong this weekend, but there's no offensive line in New England to speak of right now.
Ramondre looked great, though. He's running behind something. I had him on my fantasy team.
Well, that's the thing. That was kind of a weird, what happened? This offensive line was supposed to suck, and they didn't. But no, there's no reason to put Drake May out there. He will start this year.
You think at some point?
Absolutely, but not right now. There's no need to do it.
Well, that's my question. Should Bo Nix be starting? I mean, granted, the backup in Denver is terrible. Now, but I will say, and Caleb has to start. But Tyler Bajan's good. He won NFL games last year in Chicago. He had a really good preseason. I'm just wondering if it's not. I'm wondering if it would be helpful for a Jaden or a Caleb to sit and watch for a few weeks before getting their feet wet. Like Drake May is going to have that opportunity, like Jordan Love did, to kind of step in and learn before he got in there and hit
Jordan
the ground
Love
running.
learned behind one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Like, there's a difference between learning behind Jordan or Aaron Rodgers and, Bajan,
Jacoby Brissett.
right? Or Jarrett Stidham in Denver.
All right, here's my next hot take, Mike. Is this a proper reaction, overreaction? The Cleveland Browns are irreversibly broken, and they will miss the playoffs. And you could also substitute the Cincinnati Bengals for the Cleveland Browns in this one. I'll let you have that.
No, the Bengals will be fine. The Browns are toast.
Dude, they were so bad. The highlight...
Man, I don't even know where to start. Like,
It starts with Deshaun Watson.
well, does it though? Like, here's the enigma. Stefanski can get that team to play. Like, we know that. They played under Flacco. So is Deshaun is he a locker room cancer?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And, he was down, or he put his hand out to help one of his linemen up, and the lineman basically blew him off. I mean, I think those guys do not want to play for him.
So at one point, this is on the owner now. Is the owner's got to step in and say, enough. Like, I get it. We rolled the dice. We paid this guy an ass load of money. It's the stupidest, probably one of the worst contracts in American sports, but it's over. Like, it's time to take our medicine. Let's find a new guy. Whether it's Jameis, whether they trade. It ain't Flacco. Like, everyone's like, oh, Joe Flacco.
No, it can't be
Stop.
Flacco.
It's not
Yeah,
for
we
a
gotta stop.
full season. Absolutely not. But there's talent on that roster. Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy. When Nick Chubb probably never comes back and is the same guy he was. But Jerome Ford, you've got David Njoku. You've got a good defense. You got
You got a great defense. Myles Garrett. I mean, you got a team.
Thank you, Myles Garrett. You got some
killers.
studs
Yeah.
on that defense. This is a good roster. You cannot let Deshaun Watson nuke it. And so someone has to step in and just fall on the sword and say, that's it. Like, it's over. And I'm wondering if this new allegation that conveniently
saw that.
popped up,
Yeah, right.
conveniently
Yes.
pops up is
You talked about another civil suit being filed against Deshaun, which
it was a sexual harassment civil suit from like 2020 that again, conveniently out of nowhere pops up. I don't know any details about it. I just know that surfaced today, I think was when it came up, which probably has some sort of void in his contract if they want it to. He can't be the guy. It's over.
no, it's over. They're not making the
So-
playoffs as it is right now.
Let me tell you this: like, put Jameis in, let Jameis spin.
Yeah, it's Jameis. He can throw 1 million touchdowns and he can throw 1 million interceptions, but he's going to give you a chance to move the ball. He's done it in the past.
So, but if they don't make a switch, I'll say this. Back to your original question: if they make a switch at quarterback, they can get back in this thing. If they don't,
I think they have a chance.
they're shit out of luck. They're screwed.
And you think the Bengals will be okay, even though there's signs of life in Pittsburgh and Baltimore looks like they're ready to roll. I mean, man, that's a tough division.
Yeah,
I mean, they lost to the Patriots. I mean, I know the Bengals pull this every year.
yeah, but they last 7 years they're 1-6 in opening day. They're historically bad to start, but I do think Joe Burrow's a little overrated.
Yeah. Well, this wrist thing with him too is a problem. I mean, he can only
they're
practice
talented.
like once a week.
When they're healthy, they're one of the best offenses in the league. Their run defense sucks, so teams are going to run up their ass. So we'll see if Jamar can, if Jamar Chase is checked out because of this contract, which is wild because he has 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
I guess that's the times we live in, though. We don't.
Is it-
we just,
Extend me, or I'm gonna lay down.
yeah.
Jordan Love, Packers, no chance of making the playoffs now with this knee injury. He's out a
Well,
month.
he's only out 4 weeks.
He's out a month. How quick is he going to come back from that? This is it. Tough division. Packers not making the playoffs. Proper reaction, overreaction.
Overreaction.
I agree.
They
I
gotta
hate
stay
to hate to agree. I mean, I just cannot abide the
stay afloat.
Packers,
Now Malik Willis ain't going to win. I mean,
dude. So that's they can't count on Malik Willis winning football games for him. We've seen him up close and personal in Tennessee, and that dude is as bad an NFL quarterback I've ever seen.
No, but how funny would it be if they have to go get Ryan Tannehill? You got Tannehill and Willis back together. But it sounds like Tannehill is completely content just not playing again.
Do you blame him? The dude took some big
No.
hits. I mean,
Has
hey man,
a ton of money.
Yeah.
Why would you? Like,
Yeah.
you're very underappreciated. You got all kinds of shit when you were in the NFL, and yet, but statistically, he was a fine quarterback. Tennessee was their best version of themselves when he was the quarterback.
Yeah, agreed. Packers' next 4 games, the ones that Jordan Love will miss.
Yeah, read them off. I'll tell you if they win or not.
They're at home for Indianapolis.
They lose.
They are at Tennessee.
I'm going to say they lose.
Okay, so they're 0-2 now with Malik Willis. They are home versus Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. The rejuvenated Sam Darnold. Okay.
I think they win that game.
And then they have to go to see Sean McVay out in Los Angeles and play the Rams.
Oh, they lose that. But I don't think Malik Willis is the quarterback.
But that puts him at But that puts him at 1-5. Without Jordan Love, which means
1-4, isn't it?
Well, they lost. Yeah, you're right. It's 1-4. That puts them at 1-4, which means that they have to go. What?
Yeah, but they get hot.
They have to go 9-3 the rest of the way.
I mean, that Tennessee game can go either way. I think. Yeah. I think they're okay. I think this weekend of the playoffs. They do.
Well, the second half of their schedule, dude, is tough. They got the 49ers. They got Houston. Of course, Detroit twice. I don't know if Miami's going to be any good.
They did this last year, though. I think, if I recall, they went on like some insane hot streak.
They do, and they will. And they'll beat the Bears like they usually do. Okay, so we're not worried about that one. How about this one? I've been holding this for you. Tom Brady. He's in over his head, dude. The pregnant pauses, the cliches. Greg Olsen, the aforementioned Greg Olsen, will have his job back by the midseason as the lead analyst.
No, they won't make a switch midseason.
God, Brady was bad. Did you listen to that Cleveland Dallas game? I watched that game not so much for the football, but to hear Tom Brady, and I didn't hear Tom Brady because he didn't talk.
It wasn't great.
Well, I don't understand why Tony Romo can go right from under center to the booth and just be dynamic and tell us what's coming. Greg Olsen, Troy Aikman, there is a history of guys going right from the field to the booth and being successful. And this dude is supposed to be the best of all time, and he gets in there and he literally couldn't open his mouth. The play-by-play guy is leaving space for him, and it's crickets.
I think he overprepared.
You think? You think that dude was too focused on remembering guys' last names and trying to remember schemes?
I truly think that he prepared for that moment, that game, like he was going to play in it. I think he watched film of himself in the preseason. So the last preseason, this is true, the last preseason game that Fox did, he was not part of the crew, but he made him and what's his name, Burkhart, that he does it with. Mm-hmm. They went out. They were not videotaped. Or they were not audio taped. They went out and he made Burkhart go out with them to do it, and they just did it themselves in a booth alone to get reps. Brady over-prepared, and I think he got there, and to be successful in that role, you have to be conversational. You have to have some personality. If you go in there with a script where you're trying to get out talking points, where you are trying to get out analysis that you have pre-scripted, you're going to struggle because you have to be able to adapt in the moment. And I don't think he was ready for that. I know Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. He is, no matter what he touches.
Just because you're great at quarterback doesn't mean you'll be able to go in and talk into a microphone and sound like...
He will be fantastic.
Oh.
Give him a few weeks.
Fucking gross.
No, don't get me wrong. Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen's the best.
Awesome.
He's elite. My wife also pointed out that Tom Brady can drop it down an octave or two. He sounds...
his voice is he needs to... But again, I think that's the...
he's not going to be you. He's not going to have that nice kneeling bass. But he certainly can get down to where I'm at sometimes. I mean, he's up here talking like this. He's so excited.
It felt like there was something wrong with his voice, though. I wonder... I don't know. It's weird. It feels beneath him. I will say this. I was talking with some buddies about it. It's like, dude, you're the greatest quarterback of all time.
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing Tostitos commercials?
Yes.
Why are you doing this? Like, I don't get it. It just feels beneath him. What was it? It was I forget which game it was on Saturday. It was a Fox College game, and they like kicked it to Tom to start to do like a preview of the game on Sunday.
I saw this.
What are you doing, Tom? Like,
what are you doing, dude?
What are you doing? You're the best football player of all time. Like when you are on the screen, it should be an absolute treat. It should be a delicacy. And now you're just like anchoring the freaking Browns and the Cowboys? Like, what?
Well, the flip side of that coin is it must sting that Bill Belichick is so freaking good at it. Like Belichick was on the Manning cast last night. Like the things he sees and he tells us, Belichick's on every other program and he's great. Like his analysis is fantastic. He's breaking plays down. He speaks over our heads a little bit. That's what we liked about Tony Romo is Tony kind of kept it in the fan zone. But
Doesn't
still,
speak over my head.
Belichick is so freaking good. Let's put him in the number one analyst role. Of course, he's going to be coaching. He might be coaching by the end of the year. Seriously. Stefanski might be like, I'm out. And you can take it, Bill.
No,
Back to Cleveland with you.
Bill's going two places.
Where's he going to land?
He's going back to the Giants.
Uh-huh.
Or he's going to Dallas.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's a very outside chance he goes to the Jets.
I like the Giants call a lot.
Well, he has a soft spot because that's where he got his start.
Yeah. Well, the Dayball honeymoon is freaking over.
The Jets thing, he hates the Jets. He loathes them. But if you haven't watched The Dynasty on Apple TV,
I've not.
You need to. It is an absolute hit piece on Bill Belichick.
Oh, I heard it is.
Is about
I've
the
not
Patriots.
seen it. Yeah.
Their dynasty run. It was produced and approved
by the Crafts,
Bob
right?
Kraft.
Yeah, it's a Kraft production.
It was a Belichick hit piece. It was disgusting. I hate Bob Kraft. Anytime I see Bob Kraft,
wow, that's your owner, dude. I hate
don't
McCaskey's
sell
too.
the team. After seeing that trash, it made me sick to my stomach. Bob Kraft can freaking pass away tomorrow, and I will cheer his casket on the way to rot in the ground. It was disgusting. Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach of all time. He brought more joy to my life than anyone else except for Tom Brady. And you know what? If Bill went back to the Jets to give a big middle finger to Bob Kraft, because that's exactly what it would be, I'd cheer for him.
Do you think he'd send him a massage table too as a gift? Hey, I'm back in your division. Here's your own personalized massage table.
I hope he would, and I hope he'd have his 24-year-old girlfriend deliver it.
Is it true that they did not mention that one time in that entire miniseries?
Not once. Because the Kraft's an
They
idiot.
did a whole thing on Deflategate, and they won't talk about his proliferation.
They did a whole thing on Hernandez too. This whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. We can maybe
all right.
do a special.
Let's do it. Let's hold off on that. One bonus take, and we'll move on. Overreaction or proper reaction? Will Levis is the worst quarterback in the NFL. This is for our Tennessee fans.
Oh,
Mike, that interception he threw, dude. That 6 minutes of the game, they have a lead. That dude threw a pass you only throw if you're down, a touchdown with a minute left and no other options.
So here's the issue. I played quarterback. No big deal. I was a quarterback. I made a lot of boneheaded mistakes, right? The problem is when you get coached up on boneheaded mistakes, you know what you become? Gun shy, apprehensive. You also have bad habits. I don't think there's hope for Will Levis based on the fact that if you're making that mistake in your second year in the NFL, if your brain is wired in a way that says, I think this is a good idea in the moment, the next thing that's going to happen now is you're going to be gun shy, and now you're not going to make throws. You're going to say, "Oh, I better hold on to it."
So you think there's a market correction here, and he's going to lose a lot of what makes him him? I mean, he's a gunslinger.
Yeah, but he's not a good one. So now he's going to swing the opposite way. But I think the biggest takeaway here, again, I played a little bit of quarterback, is if that hasn't been coached out of him between a successful high school career, a successful college career,
right,
year 2 in the NFL, that his brain is still hardwired to, in the moment, make that play, it's never going away, man. Yeah. It's never going away.
And he lives and dies with some of those plays, and he pulled them off last year a few times. Of course, he's, throwing to Hopkins and some other guys, but I mean, that was egregious. And he knew it as soon as he threw it. He dropped to his knees, threw his hands over his head while Stevenson's going the other way for a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the Mason Rudolph era.
It maybe sooner rather than later if that happens again. All right. Other sports news. I know you don't care. U.S. Open tennis this weekend. 2 Americans make the finals. 0 Americans win a trophy. Both of them lost. Taylor Fritz, Jessica Pegula, losing to Arya Sabalenka on the women's side, and then the number 1 player in the world, Yannick Sinner, on the men's side. Did you watch any of this, and did you care? I like tennis. I watched all of Wimbledon. For some reason, Taylor Fritz.
I don't watch. I think it's stupid.
Taylor Fritz did not move the needle for me the way Coco Gauff did last year for many of us. Which to my point is,
tired of hearing about Coco Gauff. What
I know, but at least she was compelling, man. There's the lack of compelling Americans in that sport has killed it. You know.
Well, because everyone's playing pickleball.
That's right. Let's move on.
Pickleball killed tennis.
Video killed the radio star too, dude.
Yeah.
It's just the evolution of things.
Pickleball's the future.
All right, Mike, as promised, we are not going to abandon golf. I can never abandon golf. I know you're so excited about the Solheim Cup this week at the Robert Trent Jones Golf Club in Virginia. I know you already have that queued up on your YouTube TV. But beyond that, Mike, the President's Cup's teams were chosen. Jim Furyk, what do you think Jim Furyk did? I know I texted these picks to you. Do you think he went our route with Batia and Nick Dunlap and who else went? Billy Horschel? No, he didn't. He went chalk. He took them straight down the line, 7-12, including Max Homa and Harris English. Tony Finau made the team. It was very, very uncompelling. And the funniest part of all of this is JT did not get selected, and people are losing their mind that JT is not on the team. When people lost their mind that JT was on the Ryder Cup team last year. Why can't we get JT right?
He sucks.
I'm perfectly happy him not being on the team, aren't you?
Yeah, go on vacation. He's having a kid, isn't he?
Yeah, hey, take the season off, dude.
He's about to have a kid. He's going to get even worse. I'm fine. It's over.
Why is Max Homa on this team?
Ho-hum Max? I don't know.
Why?
Because he's funny.
You made a pretty compelling case, and I don't think you dislike Max. In fact, I
don't dislike.
I think you've actively stated you liked him. I think you've pointed out some of the things that are detriments
Max is
to him.
good for golf.
He is good for golf. Is that why he's here? Because I can't see any reason taking him over Billy Horschel or Akshay, because he is not anywhere near playing the type of golf those guys are.
No, I think that's a ratings pick.
It feels that way. It feels very, very chalky. Harris English is as boring as they come. You know, he's still trying to fight to get into the top 50 for next year. Bizarre that he's on the team.
Josh, I have an announcement.
Tell me.
I don't think I'm going to watch President's Cup.
Oh, Mike. We are golf podcasters. This is what we do.
But I forgot, now that football's on, it's that's...
I get it. It's a really good football weekend too. The last week in September, but we are going to do a podcast on it. So I'm going to send you clips if nothing else.
All right, I'll put it on the. Quad
it's our
box.
last E9 of the year. It's going to
put it on the quad box.
Thank you very much. The international team I think is pretty strong, dude. We don't have to go over all the picks, but Corey Connors, Taylor Pendrith, Mackenzie Hughes were picked as the Canadians. No Adam Hadwin. No Nick Taylor, who surprisingly, when you looked at his stats, has only one top 10 finish this year, and that was the win at the Waste Management. Very strange. Live this week, Mike. I know you're probably not going to watch much of this, but the individual championship followed by the team championship. Real quick, give me a team winner. Is it going to be Crush? Is it going to be Legion 13? Give me your team winner for Live Golf in 2 weeks. Smash. Not the Crushers.
I don't know.
You're back on Smash?
It's not going to be Smash because Brooks is a football fan too, and
he's
all
done.
he cares about.
That's all he cares about.
It'll be
Legion 13.
It's going to be Legion 13 because they don't watch real football.
Agreed. They're all soccer fans. And FedEx Cup Fall Series starts this week. A bunch of top 50 guys playing in the Poncourt Championship. I know you're excited about that. That's our golf update.
Is Ricky playing?
Ricky's not playing. I think Ricky may be mailing it in for the rest of the year, and he may play out the string. He might be happier doing commercials.
Okay.
Sahith is playing, and Max is playing, and Wyndham's playing. You got some decent names getting ready for the President's Cup.
Do they?
They don't. No, they don't. Which is what's interesting. They don't have to play, and there's probably some guys going, "Man, why are y'all playing? You have the points you need. Just sit it out." But Max has won there before, so I can see why he's going back to play Silverado.
Weird.
And I'll watch it. I'll watch a little bit of this. I'll watch the Solheim Cup like crazy. It's not a great NFL schedule this week, as you know, so there's some room to watch some other things. I did not.
You're not. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I'll watch the Solheim Cup over NFL.
Dude, the college football and the NFL, kind of a weak schedule following really hot last week.
Yeah, you're right. I probably won't tune into any football.
That's fine. I will be watching the most dramatic women's golf event on the planet, and you're going to be watching, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play whatever dumpster fire comes rolling into 95-degree, Tampa, where I live. Have fun with that. I will be watching Sunday night, though, Chicago playing Houston. All right, Mike, it's time. $1,000 picks. Last week, you got your mortgage bet, the one that I was most dubious about. You nailed it. Some others we didn't nail. You came in the second half with the over, on the Iowa State game. One that I not bet. I bet Iowa outright, and that I don't want to talk about it. However, we went under in Miami, where you took the over. We went over in Brazil, and you took the under. And then the last one was Baltimore, of course, almost beating KC, but not beating KC. So we're two for five.
Didn't love it, but
bet 1,000, won 955. We're down 45 on the year. Not awful. Enough. We can recover from that this week. So I can't wait to hear what you have for us.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We'll work our way up to the mortgage bets. So let's just start with some appetizers. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
And the rule is you have to have a minimum of 5 bets. You can have more than 5 if you want, but a minimum of 5.
I have 5 bets.
Okay, good.
All right. Vandy, Georgia State.
Jesus, you're not doing a Vandy game. Are you asking people who listen to this podcast to lay money on the Commodores?
Well, while you've been watching women's golf, I've been watching the Commodores a little bit. Okay, Josh.
Let me
tell you, they got a quarterback now.
Oh boy.
Okay, they got a stadium that's halfway built. These guys are fired up. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go put my Vandy hat on. Half built, you say?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The worst team in the SEC is the best team in any other conference.
Okay.
So when they go to Georgia State, you know where Georgia State plays? Want to know
They're playing at Georgia State?
Yeah. Do you know where they play? You know where Georgia State's home stadium is?
No idea.
Turner Field.
They play where the Braves used to play?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Fun fact for you. So
Vandy at Georgia State.
Yeah, Vandy, 10.5 point favorite. They're going to blow them out. Vandy's going to crush.
They're only 10.5 point favorites?
Yeah, they're going to go down there and crush them.
Oh, wow. So you're going to take Vandy minus the 10.5.
Absolutely. $100. Nice little appetizer for the day. Anchored down. Again.
That's strange. Vandy, a couple good wins this year already. And to only be late?
Don't come crawling back to me on Vandy after you sat here and said, oh, you've been watching any Vandy bets? Get out of here with that.
I tried to adopt them. 25 years in Nashville, I couldn't do it. It was so pathetic.
Get your own house in order up in what part of Wisconsin do they play?
Don't you dare, sir. That's Madison, Wisconsin. How would you not even know this? That's embarrassing.
It's Canada.
Bet number 2, Mike, before we lose our friendship.
So I got a new job. Our office, our headquarters is directly across the street from the stadium of this team. It's the North Texas Mean Green. It's a great name, the Mean Green. They're going to Jerry World to play Texas Tech.
North Texas, they're at Texas Tech.
The Mean Green playing the Red Raiders, so the primary color war.
Hey, Mike, do you think any of your picks this week will involve teams we're familiar with, or are you just going to go completely off the reservation?
Oh, I'm sorry, Josh. Do you want me to just let me base how I buy food for my family off of teams that everyone's familiar with? It doesn't matter if it's a good bet or not. Just like, let me just go out there and find Georgia versus or sure, Josh. Let me go back to the table here, or the drawing table. I'm sorry.
North Texas at Texas Tech. What do you got?
It's not at Texas Tech. It's at Jerry World.
Oh, we're a neutral game.
Stadium.
Wow, we're in the middle of Dallas, huh?
Yeah, it's like the Lone Star Bowl or whatever special. I don't know, but
okay.
There's no defense in this game. There's none.
So you're looking at the over.
Absolutely, the over 69 and a half. I love
what's
that.
What's the half you think in 69? What is that? Is there like a finger involved there? I mean, never mind. Moving on.
That's disgusting, Josh.
Over 69.
Oh my gosh. Get it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, over 69 and a half. No finger.
Okay, we're putting how much on that?
Just $100.
Okay.
Again, second appetizer.
All right, so we got North Texas neutral site in Dallas against Texas Tech.
The Mean Green versus the Red Raiders.
Oh, taking the over.
Primary color war.
Gotcha. All right, what's number 3?
We talked about them earlier. Teams in disarray. They got a Predator for a quarterback. The Cleveland Browns, they're going into Jacksonville. Jacksonville's only getting 3 points. They're a 3-point favorite. Jacksonville had Miami on the ropes.
Yeah, they did. They had them beat, dude.
They had them beat.
Hey,
Not a bad team.
can we do this now? We have not done this yet. I think we need to talk about Tyreek before we go any further. And I want to get into this bet, we need to talk about Tyreek. And of course, they played. Miami did Jacksonville. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
What's your take on Tyreek? Should we be infuriated at his treatment, or did his non-compliance create a situation that could have been avoided?
Here's my thing. I come from a family of police officers. If they ask you to do something, do it.
Yeah, fair.
Unless it's something crazy, right? He was asked to do something. He didn't do it, right? I don't know all the details of what he did to get pulled over. It sounded like he was going 100 miles an hour or something, reckless driving. He had blacked out windows. The guy didn't know who he was. Here's the thing. When you have that blacked out windows and then he rolls up his window and the cop can't see in him, cops are supposed to assume the worst. The guy could be reaching for a gun. You don't know. That's why the cop asks you to please keep your window down. It's not that hard of an instruction. Everyone's like, oh, well, people didn't, he wants to maintain his privacy because he's a football player. And then don't drive 100 miles an hour to the stadium. If you don't want people to videotape you because you get pulled over by the cops, then don't get pulled over by the cops.
Right. His argument was he didn't want to roll the window down and draw attention to himself and what was going on.
That being said, well, then don't buy a $250,000 Lamborghini. That being said, are there instances where the cops get a little aggressive? Yeah.
Scottie Scheffler would agree.
Scottie's a bitch.
There's some similarities here, dude. I'm just telling you.
No, there's not.
These two thugs, man, they're a lot alike, Scottie.
No, he's Scottie.
And my boy Tyreek.
Jail changed him.
There's just the difference of 9 children. That's about it.
Here's the thing. I think that, unfortunately, in this society, everyone's going to speak out against these cops. They don't necessarily wait for the facts to come out. You already saw the guy instantly get suspended or put on administrative leave. These cops need to be smarter, right? If you're going to take the guy out of the car, be smart.
Why are these cops not thinking straight? The cop in Louisville with Scottie Scheffler. This is my big take, dude. If you are working traffic before the Dolphins game and a $200,000 Lambo goes by you too fast and you pull him over and you run that plate and it comes up Tyreek Hill, because they know who. Don't tell me they didn't know who they pulled over. That dude's not stupid. I'm going to run that plate. I'm going to see who it's registered to. He gets the license. Tyreek wasn't happy about it. Don't knock on my window. He knows he sees the license with Tyreek's name on there. These cops aren't dumb. At that point, no matter how right you are, you got to play this one with kids' gloves, man, or else you're going to lose if you're the cops. The same way with Scottie Scheffler, you're going to lose that game in the long run. Short run, you get to show your authority. You get to have your moment. In the long run, this is going to kill you and your department. You're not working like the interstate, in the middle of nowhere. You're literally working next to the stadium, or you're working at Valhalla. I'm going to take the race out of it. I'm going to take all the stuff out of it. Why, if you're a police officer, be smarter. Like, how dumb can you be?
Yeah, I agree. And again, I don't agree with how Tyreek Hill handled it. I don't think these guys should get special treatment. But if you're the cop, you say, listen, man, get out of the car. And I know who you are. Yeah. I don't want to make a scene.
Right.
Because it doesn't look good for you. It doesn't look good for me. So let's figure this out, step out, and let's do this the right way. That's all it would take. Or it would take one of those other cops to pull the one cop aside and say, let's think big picture here, buddy.
That's right.
And they didn't. So I think it escalates quickly. And the other thing I'll say, too, is I used to be in the military, and a lot of times you assume because people in the military, they're these upstanding citizens, they're these heroes, and most of the time that's right. But there's also a subset in the military that are guys that come in there that are looking to do bad shit. And I'm not saying this cop was one of them, right? But these cops aren't all in there because they were upstanding citizens, right? Some of them have chips on their shoulders. Some of them have these complexes where the guy probably knew who Tyreek Hill was. And he's like, oh, you want to mess with me?
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Watch this, pal. And those are the cops that need to be put in check. So I think that was a combination of Tyreek Hill being an asshole. I think it was the cop not thinking through the situation. The other cops there not stepping in and intervening. So while I would love to say it was all Tyreek's fault, it wasn't. There was a lot of things that went wrong there. Think before you act if you're a cop.
That's right.
Tyreek, don't be a clown. And don't think that you're special.
Yeah. First take this morning at ESPN. Great job. I don't love Stephen A, but I thought Stephen A and Shannon Sharp handled it beautifully. Like, hey man, you're a black man in America. You get pulled over, windows are down, hands on the steering wheel, get in, get out. You're going to go try to get home safe and model that for other black kids in America. It shouldn't be that way. That's the way it is. But I thought they handled it really well.
I'm not a like, you know, I can't speak to that.
No, of course we can't. You and I cannot.
But I can speak to my own experiences when I can speak to the police officers that I know that are good police officers. I can speak to my own experiences when I have been pulled over, right? And if you comply and you're respectful, no matter how mad you are, how innocent you think you may be, 9 times out of 10, if you say, yes, officer, and you don't try to be some, you know, social justice asshole reciting the Constitution.
Right. And put on camera, that type of bullshit, right?
Hey, do you know why I pulled you over? Absolutely, officer. I was flying.
Yeah,
wasn't paying attention.
Own it.
No excuse. I wasn't paying attention. I'm on my way to the stadium.
Got a big game. I'm excited.
I'm head up my ass.
Yep.
License, absolutely. Here you go. Leave your window down. Absolutely, officer. I understand why. The guy probably then comes back and says, "Good luck today."
Yeah, exactly. You know what, Tyreek, not exactly an upstanding citizen though. His track record not great, right?
Well,
I mean,
this is beat the shit out of his girlfriend. And
yeah.
I don't feel bad for Tyreek. The point is,
obstinance is in his character.
The point is, unless the cops are telling you, you know, bend over,
you just got to do what they say.
Just do what they say and deal with it later.
Yeah, but that said, you know, the cam video is not great for the cops. The second cop comes in, it's like, nope, you're coming out of there now. They drag him out of the car. It's like, God, why are you doing this?
Well, it's a gang mentality. And
yeah.
listen, again,
yeah, that's right.
There's a bunch of weenies that are cops at the end of the day.
Man, the action is the juice for those guys, for a lot of them.
And it's not much action. You know, that's it. At the end of the day, these guys think they're at war, and they're not. They're working traffic outside of Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
If you wanted war, you'd go in the military.
Fair enough. I just love that Scottie has company. I just love that both of them now, I think they should form like a rap duo and just break it down for us next year, what it's like kind of living in chains and, you know, trying to go back to work, you know, with the stigma of being a criminal.
They could link up with Greg Olson and do the 7th Floor Crew.
I love it. They also both came out strong afterwards. The adrenaline must have been popping because Tyreek broke an 80-yard touchdown that broke that game open. And back to football because, you know, Cleveland's going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville probably a little pissed off that they lost one that they could have won. You have a down-and-out Cleveland team. What's your bet?
Jacksonville's going to steamroll them. I'm taking.
Well, how many points did they land? You laying points here too?
Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite, and I think Jacksonville's going to absolutely steamroll them. Like I'm
teasing laying the 3.
I'm going to tease it up to 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah. So I put 200 on that one. So I'm up to 400 now.
So 200 on Cleveland -3 against Jacksonville.
And I'm teasing it to 4.5. Yeah. I just
you're only teasing a 1.5. I thought you have to tease at least 3 points, don't you? Or are you teasing them to
tease it however far you want.
Okay, so you're giving an extra 1.5 juice here. You're taking an alternate line is what you're doing here. Yeah, gotcha. Plus the 4.5. So you're going to take.
There's no way that you, if you're Cleveland, that your quarterback is going to rebound, especially with the shit that came out today. That the locker room's going to come together. Like that's a tough shape. Yeah, and Jacksonville's not bad. They had that game won. Doug Peterson's a good coach.
Yeah,
they're at home. That's a hot game. That's a
hot game. Hot. Damn, it's gonna be hot. Hey, what's the juice if you take it up to 4.5 -4.5? Is that it's gonna take you to plus probably 100 at least, right? I'm curious.
I think this brings it to even money.
Okay, yeah, plus 100, even money. Okay, so we're putting 200 on that one. So we got 400 down. Yep. We're laying 4.5.
We got my two big ones here.
We got 2 mortgage bets coming up. What's your first one?
300 apiece.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go. These are 2 hometown bets. One that I love both of these. One's in favor of the hometown team. One's against the hometown team. Did you know that Boston has Boston has a college team?
Yeah, Boston College. They're ranked.
They shouldn't be.
No, but they are. They beat Florida State, and they found themselves, because of lack of options really at this point, at the bottom of the rankings. They found themselves in there.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're not a good football team. I love Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
This team is default ranked because they beat a terrible Florida State team.
Yep.
And who did they beat last week? It was like a third-rate, might have been like Merrimack or something stupid, some terrible team. They're going against Mizzo.
So we got 2 ranked teams because Missouri's ranked as well.
Boston College should not be ranked. Like, this is it's one of these things where like they're ranked, but they shouldn't be ranked. Okay,
Yeah.
So they're at Mizzo. So you've got a terrible Boston College team that shouldn't be ranked that's going out to play Mizzo, number 6 in the country, and Mizzo is only a 17-point favorite.
They're 17. This is what's crazy to me. Missouri's a 17-point favorite at home against another top 25 team. Nobody believes in BC. So you're going to lay those points too.
BC sucks. Like, this could be
So
42 to 10.
So Mizzou minus 17. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Taking it. Laying those 17
my November
points.
mortgage payment.
Okay. Love it. $300 on Missouri minus 17 against a
I wish it was
wildly overrated Boston College
really.
team.
It's not really my mortgage payment, unfortunately. If I was watching the debate tonight, I'd like to hear what they had to say about that. But
Well, you just bought a new house in the most expensive county in the country. Congratulations.
well, that's kind of when you say it like that.
I know.
It makes it
Feel
seem
good
like
about
I'm doing
yourself.
pretty well.
You are doing pretty well. You're a 1%er.
Yeah, depends how you look at it. Whoa, I did have a motorcycle at one point.
Okay, your 5th mortgage bet. Your fifth bet, your 2nd mortgage bet.
So if I got the hometown Boston College Eagles getting blown out,
Yep.
got the New England Patriots.
Oh, I knew you were going to do this.
This is not an overreaction. This
It's
is
an
common
overreaction.
sense. This is not
No,
passion.
it's a
This is not
complete
passion.
overreaction. That's what
not.
you're about to do.
It's not. It's not. Not.
Okay. All right.
Got Seattle coming to town. It's a cross-country trip. We don't know what Seattle is. They got a new coach, Geno Smith. If you live in New England, you know Papa Gino's. Papa Gino's is very good commercial pizza. Very good chain pizza. You ever had Papa Gino's?
I have not.
It's great chain pizza. If you ever go to New England, including Maine, Maine's in New England, Papa Gino's is good pizza.
Okay. Good
anyways.
to know. I'll file that away for the next
Seattle,
time I'm never in.
3.5-point favorites. Okay.
Whoa. Are you sure you got that right? New England's getting 3.5 points at home?
Yeah, they're a dog at home. I like New England with the points here. I'm against the spread here with New England. I don't love them outright. I think there's too much that can still go wrong. I'm not buying New England as a 2-0 team, but I'm buying New England at 3.5 points.
So you see like a 24-21 Seattle win here. Something close.
I see like a 16-13 game.
Okay, so like this is a down and dirty in the trenches game. Teams aren't quite in form yet.
Yeah.
Geno can't move the ball.
This
The
is
Patriots defense
football.
is holding together.
This is Patriots football in 2024. We're going to run the ball as long as we can until Ramondre's the wheels fall off. Stop us. Jacoby's not going to really make too many mistakes. He's going to throw for like $150. Our defense is going to be solid. They're going to stymie Geno. That's it. Like
Okay,
Christian Gonzalez. People do not know who. Do you know who Christian Gonzalez is?
I do not.
Yeah.
Is he your
Probably
uncle?
one of the best. Yeah. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Christian Gonzalez is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL that no one knows about. He was the number 16 overall draft pick last year. Got injured, but before he was injured, he was Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year wasn't even a question.
Right, it's always fun to
Bill
do that in
Belichick's
hindsight.
last great draft pick.
It's his only great draft pick.
stud.
Not a great drafter is Bill Belichick. Usually
Hey, who led the NFL in sacks over the weekend?
New England probably.
No, player. Keon White. You know where Keon White was? Rookie last year. You know who drafted last year? Bill Belichick. Check your facts.
All right. Vandy, minus 10.5 at Georgia State. North Texas, Texas Tech, over 69.5. Cleveland at Jacksonville. You're going to take that up to minus 4.5, even money, a $200 bet. You want to take Jacksonville and lay the 4.5. BC at Missouri, 2 ranked teams, and you're going to lay 17 points. Mizzou at home over Boston College. That's a $300 mortgage bet. And then finally, the Patriots home dogs plus 3.5 over Seattle, $300 mortgage bet. I like those. I like those better than last week. I like them all.
You're not going to take them all because you don't trust me.
I don't trust you. But that said, I do love you. Thank you for Beyond the Drop week 1. I cannot wait to get this thing rolling, and we're going to do it again next week.
Can we talk about the debate?
We can talk about the debate next week for sure.
Yes.
We'll have 5 minutes.
I want to talk about the people eating dogs and cats in the park.
I can't wait. Next week, dogs and cats being eaten in Central Ohio. Coming your way on Beyond the Drop. Mike, have a good week.
You too, buddy.
See you, man.